In the family proclamation, Travis Wayne Goodsell, of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, made official under President Hinckley after 1995, the husbands in the church are ordered to be the presiders of the family, to be the breadwinners, and to allow the wife and mother to stay home with the children. And as much as out of touch as it was back then, it is even worse now, as the majority of households require a two-income household, and it even makes it worse because once you have both parents out of the home, you got to have some way to take care of the kids. So daycares and nannies and other services for daycare and childcare are then required for payment. And during the coronavirus, it's made even worse, as the two-income households and single mothers, single fathers too, are forced to quit their jobs to take care of their kids, as they have no other means to support the kids other than to quit their jobs. And so they sacrifice their kids or they sacrifice their jobs. And if you sacrifice your job, you're eventually going to run out of money to take care of your kids. And thus the need for food pantries and other stimulus packages from the government, which Republicans are dead set on not giving us. They have no problem funneling billions to the big corporations, but when it comes to us, they have trouble giving us that 600, if you even got that. I hope all of you got it. The church has always been sexist in this regard. They claim that an ideal situation, which is a fantasy land, unrealistic in our current society. And it's for the sole purpose of keeping women out of the workplace so that they are responsible for taking care of the kids so that the men don't have to. And as our society in America has changed from the agricultural society to the urban and office and industrial society, or whatever term it should be used, it makes it even more of a separation of the family. Because with the agricultural society, when the kids get to a certain age, you can have them help out on the farm, as the homemaker or the housewife was able to do even more back in those days, not having the conveniences of a dishwasher, disposal, vacuum cleaner, what other conveniences, microwave oven, instant canned food. None of that was available back then. And so, yeah, you had a completely different family structure not too many centuries back, not too many decades back in some cases, for some things. I remember SpaghettiOs came out as a little kid, and my mom didn't have a microwave oven. We were rich, but I guess it hadn't been invented yet, or it was too expensive even for them, and so I always saw my mom cooking SpaghettiOs on the stove. So that shows you how things have advanced even more quickly in our time period. Now we even have SpaghettiOs with meatballs or hot dogs. As many people are being introduced to SpaghettiOs yet again during this coronavirus pandemic, as those were among the first things to go because they're quick, easy, and such. But the Equal Rights Amendment, I think, was attempted back in the 60s, maybe the 50s, probably the 60s. I heard on the news that it's wanting to be brought up again in Congress. I hope so. I hope they're not putting it on the back burner. But again, you're going to witness the church oppose it yet again for the same reasons as previous, and because they're sexist. And what the Equal Rights Amendment will do is help pave the way for this brand new news coverage today of what's titled the Marshall Plan for Moms. It was a letter sent to the new President Biden by a mother, which has a whole bunch of support from celebrities and all that stuff, so it made the news, and one of the newspapers picked it up and ran with it. But it basically is about paying women for being mothers. There are a few problems with it that I see. I love the idea, but I think that you should pay women according to the number of children they have, not a flat rate. That's the difference that I see necessary. Because being a housewife is a job. It's not a situation where you're a sex slave to your husband, though if you're into that kind of fetish, more power to you. But it also needs to factor in if your child is born with other medical necessities more than the average child, or even during the course of a child's lifetime they develop emergencies that would need to be compensated for, and so in that situation more money would need to be given for mothers of that situation. Another foreseeable problem, as one who's divorced twice over and who had to pay alimony on the first one, not child support, which, gee, how merciful. You took away my kids and fled the country, but you're only wanting alimony. Huh. Yeah. Not nice things to say about that, because so much for equal division. But though the divorce court will have to change, because now a mother's already getting paid for being a mother, and so there won't be the need for alimony and child support anymore, because the child support has to come from the government, which is this Marshall Plan for being a mother, because that's what it's for, is child support. The government is now going to be paying child support if this passes. This is what the Marshall Plan is all about, because no corporation's going to do it. It has to be by the government. And so no more alimony, palimony, child support. It's useless now. All you have to do is determine visitation rights. The husband already has a job, the wife is getting paid for being a mother, all set and fine dandy. Just have to arrange schedule for visitation. I do worry that the courts will side with the mother to get custody of the kids, leaving the husband out of the equation, the father out of the equation, only for visitation. That's disturbing to me as one who was victimized by the loss of his children. And so there's some foreseeable problems that I can see bullies like conservatives wanting to raise the issue by causing the problems to be taken to the courts to challenge this Marshall Plan for moms. But in the short term, yeah, why haven't they? This is long overdue to pay housewives and mothers, because a mother has to have a knowledge of a whole bunch of different fields. You know, cooking, even cleaning. You have to know the right products to use and how to clean effectively. It's not just a zero gimme job, make work job. I mean, and you've got to educate your preschool kids. The mother is the first one on the line to teach them how to speak, how to communicate, and how to learn, how to use their motor coordination, and socialize, and all of that stuff, to read, and then medical doctor. You know, if we just say, oh, a child has a temperature, I guess we better run to the hospital. Doctor says, yeah, well, the time it took you to get to the hospital, the temperature's gone, child's fine. But hey, since you're here and you're already going to pay for the visit, we'll throw in some extra money that you seem to be willing to pay for, and we'll give you a prescription for non-essential cold and flu remedies. But yeah, the simple first aid mothers need to know, as well as fashion design for their child, and all that. I always hear women talk about how hard it is to be a mother because of the abusive first relationship I had when I with kids. I was put in charge of taking care of the kids. I'm sorry, women, it's easy. It's a very easy job, and I know why. It's because men and women are different, not from different planets. It's just the way we're designed. But it shouldn't be used as an excuse that it's hard labor and therefore they should be paid. No, it's easy labor, but they still should be paid because they're raising the next generation of Americans. And the current economy that we're living in is making it tougher to have children, and so this would alleviate that, as families don't need to get into domestic disputes over finances. It'd just be a matter of the wife complaining to her husband that she makes more money from government assistance for being a housewife than the burger flipping job that the husband's only able to get. But then you also have to figure out, okay, do you have two separate accounts? Do you have a joint account? How do you deal with buying gifts for the spouse? And so, yeah. that raises some other potential problems that would normally arise, as I saw in the first marriage as well. But I'm sure the majority of other couples don't have a wife that decides to become a prostitute. So I just thought I'd share those views on the late breaking news for today, and let you know that yes, it's long overdue, but there will be consequences if they're not factored in to the equation. You'll have to not only give equal status to women in so doing, but you'll need to make sure that some of these potential loopholes are dealt with the initial rollout, so that you don't have conservatives screwing up yet another great idea. But yeah, single mother financial problems would be taken care of. You don't have to worry about the church coming to you saying you must have your baby, otherwise you're a sinner. And we're not going to give you any bishop storehouse assistance because you're a sinner. You need to go out and work, and you might as well just give your kids up for adoption because you're going to have to pay for daycare anyway, and you don't have a job, blah, blah, blah. And forgetting that the woman was raped. Or abandoned, etc., etc. But that's conservatives. They're evil. But communism has to be kept in check, too. Technically, the economic system that I had, since we'll just keep on going rather than end this video, my economic plan was to do away with money altogether. And thus, housewives, mothers, no big deal. You get what you want. You've got kids, you're taking care of them, you get everything you need. My plan already compensates women to take care of them and children, and allows them to stay at home, and if they're able to do something else on the side, great. We'll welcome your contribution into the warehouses. And even if it's like a design for clothing, for example, submit the design, we'll have our automated, robotic, whatever, sewing machine thingy take care of it so that we can mass produce it. I like my system better, but under the economy that we have, it has to be done, and I think this is the best idea that has come forward. But like I said, there will need to be some checks in it to prevent conservatives from mucking it all up, to put women back into slavery.